It looks like a pterodactyl was taking a shit in my engine bay, well, in my transmission tunnel area.
I was sorely mistaken. I think the pterodactyl took a shit in the cab.
So I've got to find something that kind of can eat into this stuff and just get into its molecular structure and just kind of like chew it down a bit, so then break it up so I can just wipe it off gently. Good times. Riv nuts to the rescue. Hindsight, wonderful thing. 2020, as they say. Hey guys, welcome back to Dynamat Customs YouTube channel. Watched the last video, check it out. Got this up on the old high rider rolling body dolly thing. Only cost me 300 bucks, and that's actually materials, cost me nothing. It was the 300 bucks is for the tail light I smashed on the Jeep when I was moving the 51 round out on the driveway. So yeah, new tail light for the Jeep on its way from Rock Auto. Yeah, so I did get a price for a replacement one from the local Jeep dealership, stealership as they're called in some circles. Have a guess at the price. Okay, I'll tell you. $649 for one tail light and a 6 to 8 week turnaround on getting it here, because there's none in the country. So $649, that's just ridiculous. There's millions of these Jeeps floating around here in New Zealand, so I don't know why it's so much. Anyway, so check it out. Lifted the garage carpet on one half of the garage. I'm gonna have a bit of a clean up over here and lift the carpet on this side of the garage. It's heaps better. I can sweep the floor. There's all glue and stuff down there, but it's not sticky. It's just kind of serrated, but that's alright. It'll wear down, maybe, probably not, but definitely easier to sweep up the floor and all those little die grinder filings that just want to get into your skin. So before we do anything else, I'm going to get this garage carpet up on this side. Okay, so update on the tail light on the Jeep. Yes, spent 300 bucks roughly to get some new tail lights from Rock Auto for the Jeep, and they don't fit. They do fit in the hole, but the harness doesn't fit onto these. And every reference I found online and forums and stuff for sale and things like that had the same kind of harness system as my Jeep, but all of the aftermarket replacement tail light things have got this, just two lights and plugs and stuff, and so I don't know what I'm going to do there. This has turned into a bit of a nightmare. One little lapse in judgment and back the old Area 51 into the Jeep is now, I think, going to cost me dearly. So if anyone's got any insight onto how I can hook this up to a factory Jeep harness, let us know down below in the comments. That'd be awesome. Hey guys, well, it's like done. Garage carpet's up, and had a bit of a tidy up, had a bit of a clean up, took a whole bunch of stuff to the trip on the old bomb truck, and now the bomb truck's in this bay instead of the background Morrow. Background Morrow's out there next to the garage under the carport. So this week we're going to step away from the Area 51 and the whole Morris Minor thing for a little bit, and I've got some Dynamat for the truck. Now the truck needs some better, proper underfloor or on the floor sound deadening, heat protection sort of stuff. We get a lot of heat through the firewall, and the stuff I used on this was not the right stuff when I did it originally. I cheaped out and did it the wrong way, and I'll show you. Okay, so if you can see down in there on top of the trans tunnel and the bell housing and stuff like that, and right down there by the shifter linkage, and on top of that header wrap, It looks like a pterodactyl was taking a shit in my engine bay, well, in my transmission tunnel area. Slow down, mate, come on. That's the sound deadening stuff that I got, which was actually just more like for speaker boxes and crap like that. It's not heat resistant, and I plastered that stuff all through the floor of the truck and up the firewall, and now the engine bay heat melts it, softens it, and it's made a horror of a mess underneath the floor where it's all oozed through, because the floor on this screws out and it's all oozed through, and kind of made a mess. So my mission that I've been avoiding for quite some time is to scrape it all off and Dynamat it with the proper Dynamat stuff. So let's get at it. Springtime, officially spring here in New Zealand now, so of course it's pissing down, which means I can't move this stuff outside at the moment, because when I was wheeling all this around I thought it would be the right idea to have the motor at this end on the frame, but in hindsight I should have just pushed the chassis back in the way it was, because now to push the body out I have to push the chassis out anyway. So anyway, let's have a look at this floor on the truck, the old bomb truck. Alrighty, so let's start with, I guess, taking this carpet out and whatnot, which is not a biggie. See, that bit was easy to come out. That's the old, it goes in there like that. Yeah, and then I've got a heap of stuff to take off of here. This is gonna be terrible. Anyway, let's get into it. Take that out, start. Okay, so underneath all this, which is foam sound deadening stuff, is the sticky culprit that's making the mess. This stuff, oh my gosh, what a, oh well. I think this is going to take a while. Ooh, what's that? Okay, so I just found a stray nut down there. I don't know where that's from, so I'll have to investigate that, see what's rattled loose. Okay, so this is the stuff that's all leaking through the floor. All the glue and the material is just melted and gone super soft when it gets hot. So I'm going to have to use some heat, I think, to to try and get this to let go and get the worst of it up. I'm never going to get all this shit off though. Maybe with some chemicals or something, I don't know, but oh god, it's all the way up. I put this stuff everywhere too. I covered the firewall trying to drown down some of the engine noise and exhaust noise and vibrations and stuff, and it was the wrong product. I'm so disappointed in myself. Anyway, I'll move ahead and get into keep removing this foam stuff, and then I'll try and get into that sticky crap. So making some kind of progress. See, all this stuff here is the stuff that isn't particularly heat resistant, so on the upside it means the heat gun will get it off the smoother surfaces. On the downside, the firewall heat melts it, so it runs down. There's a seam right here, the whole floorboard, and that screws off in these trucks. Two pieces, I think. There's a piece that runs across there and then a piece that runs through the main floor. So there's a seam here, and this has just been kind of oozing down the firewall and oozing out through there, and then oozing out through this seam here as well. So I've got some of it off. It's tearing my hands up though. This tinfoil stuff's actually quite sharp when you it tears and stuff, and it's got glue stuck all over it. So I'm going to see if I can find some gloves that can stop it all just sticking to my hands and cutting my hands up. And then, yeah, get in there with a bit more heat gun. The only thing is this black foam shit, it's flame retardant apparently, but it starts smoking and stuff as well. So I don't want to get too much heat in there while there's this shit on here, because it's probably bad for you. And I probably shouldn't be inhaling lots of it in a small enclosed space like the bomb truck cab. So I'll carry on, but I just thought I'd give you an update. And this is probably an hour since I started. It's kind of slow going. It's pretty punishing, to be fair. It's going to take me a lot longer than I kind of hoped, but I kind of knew deep down that this was going to be a shit fight. Especially up on the firewall. I don't know. Well, I don't know. I'm even just mumbling and stuff now. I'm not quite sure how we're gonna kind of find a quick and clean way of doing this. Don't want to use too many solvents again in the enclosed space, but anyway, I'll carry on. I'll figure something out. I'll try some stuff and then feedback.
I was sorely mistaken. I think the pterodactyl took a shit in the cab and then covered it in tinfoil. This is quite slow going, but a little bit of heat softens it up to enough to kind of slowly scrape it up until it cools down, and then you can't move it again. But yeah, definitely not. Definitely not recommending this particular product for firewalls and floors, anywhere heat's involved. I don't even know whether I'd put it in a speaker box, to be honest. If like the speaker box was in the sun or something, that quite easily just have a big pool of this pterodactyl shit in the bottom of your speaker box after a while. Even like on the flat floor, where the floor is not that flat, it's kind of like thinner here than it is down here, so it's actually heated up and flowed like a lava flow type of thing, and then just pulled in the low points like in here and stuff. But yeah, it was actually thinner here than through here. But carry on, we're making gains, kind of. Not even halfway there yet, and just getting the top layer off. Then I've got to try and figure out how to clean all this stuff up. But yeah, carry on. lying here before listening to Clutch on the old Spotify, yeah, thinking glad I don't have a clutch pedal to contend with as well, because I've had to take the gas pedal out and the dimmer switch, which I might relocate down lower because it was way up here before, but I might move it down here and somewhere around there. It should just stick there by itself now. Tried a little bit of mineral turpentine on the real thin bits, and it does seem to wash it off, but you have to get like the bulk of it off before you'd go that far, because otherwise you just have this whole thing swimming in terps, which is probably still going to be the case. So I'm getting there, kind of. You can see, have a look, show you. You can see how much this body deadener stuff runs, and now this is what it's doing underneath the truck through these seams here, this one here, and this seam along here. I'll show you underneath later on when we get these floor panels out, hopefully. Check in soon. This is a bit of a mission. Small cab, big person, biggish kind of person, lanky. Okay guys, so we're about 3 hours in, and this is where we're at. I have got all the old deadening stuff off, other than the deadening stuff, gluey shit that held it on, and it's been a slow and painful process, and I think the worst is yet to come, to be fair. Got a bit more work on the heat gun. Managed to burn myself on the wrist. Oh, blister's popped already. But yeah, probably got to do a bit more heat gunning to try and get the thicker parts and that off, and then it kind of, with the terpsy rag, it kind of comes up alright, but I want to get as much of it off as possible, because I don't want to stick any new stuff to this stuff if it's going to move in when it gets hot, if you know what I mean. There's no point spending all this money on Dynamat and then having it slide off because it's trying to stick to this crap. So carry on, heat gunning it, and then yeah, try and get some kind of sort of mop up the rest of it with terpsy rags. That's the plan. Okay, check back in when we have got something chickenable to show you. Hi guys, back. Okay, next day. That's as far as I got last night with the old glue butyl based removal thing, before I knocked over my bottle of mineral turpentine and splashed myself in the face with it and dumped a near full bottle onto the garage floor. Lucky I haven't got garage carpet anymore, it's just old glue. That the turpentine was working really well at lifting the glue off the garage floor, but not so much off the old floor of the truck. So it's kind of where I'm at the moment. Still got a sticky mess and haven't even managed to get those floor panels out. I'm kind of not even sure if I'm going to do that now. I might just try and get this cleaned up and then stick the Dynamat down and see what happens. But I shouldn't cut that corner, I know, but this is such a punishing process. But this morning I'm going to head off down to the old local hardware store, and I've been doing some research on adhesive removal products and that overnight, so I might go down there and see if I can find something that might take this stuff off without, you know, lacquer thinners will eventually eat into it, of course, but it also eats into everything else. Terps kind of gets there, but doesn't really touch the thicker stuff. It's only if you get it real down to thin stuff, and the thicker stuff and all the nooks and crannies is the stuff that I kind of really want to get out. So I've tried isopropyl, which is probably good for the final kind of clean any residue and stuff off before I do any painting. ISO didn't really touch the glue at all. Tried Scotch-Brite pads, didn't really do much. Wire wheel on a drill, just kind of moved it around a bit. So I've got to find something that kind of can eat into this stuff and just get into its molecular structure and just kind of like chew it down a bit, so then break it up so I can then just wipe it off gently. Have a bunch of rags left over, and something that smells a bit better, because I have an internal access garage.
that goes into my house. My entire house smells like turpentine now because I spilt, like, here it is there. That was a near new bottle, and now it's well, 3/4 of the bottle gone on the garage floor, and all down the running board on the other side of the truck, and there's a hell of a mess. But so I'm going to title off and go and see what I can find that might make this job just a wee bit easier. Would be nice. Maybe some scrubbing brushes or something, I don't know. Be back. Okay, so I'm back. I bought 3 products now. I've heard about Goof Off on the forums and stuff. Thought I'd try some oven cleaner because you never know. And this solvent cleaning stuff. So we'll give them all a try and see which one works the best. Good times. Alrighty, so I'm going to try this solvent cleaning solvent stuff first, because that kind of looks the most promising. It's made by a company that makes glue and stuff like that, so they might have some idea on how to get sticky shit off. So I'll squirt a little bit of that in there and see how we go. And I might try this Goof Off stuff, since I've kind of heard about that as well. But yeah, so we'll give it a shot. I'll just spray a bit on there, see if we can get this stuff to soften up. The instructions said to leave it for a minute or so, so we'll leave it for a minute or so. Okay, so it definitely seems to be eating into this stuff, especially the thinner stuff. It's definitely taking it down somewhat, but I just thought I'd get in here with the old gasket scraper and kind of try and sort of knock out some of the heavier stuff while it's still wet with this solvent cleaner stuff. And over here, oh. It definitely eats into the lighter weight, thinner areas of the gluey shit that's left behind, this butol stuff or whatever it is. But yeah, usual story. It's the thicker stuff that it's kind of harder to get off. The thinner stuff was coming off alright with the terps as well, but a few more kind of applications that might kind of get it down a bit further. I'll pick another area and I'll give that goop off stuff a shot. Oh, got some of this Goof Off. I'll give that a bit of a squirt into those areas there and soak it up some. I'll give that area a bit of a squirt with it as well and see if it's good for sort of the heavier stuff over there. Now that says to leave it for at least 1 minute, so I'll leave that for a bit and then we'll give that a wipe, see what it does. Okay, so Goof Off doesn't really seem to do much of anything. It might be alright for the kind of final clean, getting off any residue or something from the other products, but it doesn't really kind of do much to this stuff here. As far as eating into it goes, it just pretty much the same as over here, bits that I haven't even touched. So yeah, Goof Off's probably not the way to go, but I did try it on this foamy stuff and it does seem to work quite well on that type of gluey shit that's left over from there, sort of. Okay, so quick update. Oven cleaner, I thought I'd give that a try. Doesn't work at all. Spray it on, leave it for 30 minutes and you just wipe it off and it doesn't touch this sticky stuff. Most successful so far is this solvent stuff here, but
usual sort of story with this kind of crap, you just spray it on and it just spreads it around until you keep spraying it on until it's thinned out enough that you've kind of washed the bulk of it off. Tried doing the balling up a bunch of the gluey stuff and sort of using it to pluck off other bits. Worked to a certain degree, but then it would just get too sticky and stick to my gloves, and I couldn't get my gloves. I'd end up all stuck together. But so this works pretty good. I'm probably going to need some more though. You got to work pretty quick with it because it evaporates pretty quick. It's a bit like lacquer thinners of sorts, I guess, some kind of solvent, but it does evaporate pretty quick. So you got to get in there, give it a scrub. I've got a little broken plastic brush. Yes, I know, which is kind of working to a degree as well. So I get in there, spray it, wet it up, give it a scrub with that, then get in there, spray it, and then give it a wipe down with a rag, you know, and that kind of helps. But the thicker stuff in all the areas that are harder to get to with the scrapers and the heat gun and all that stuff, it's the same kind of deal. It's just this, you know, doesn't have enough oomph to get in there and just sort of dilute it and have it all run out. You're just kind of taking layer off layer off layer off it, you know. You'll carry on. So kind of getting there. It's a freaking process, I tell you. And ideally I need to take these floors out so I can get all the stuff that's dribbled through these gaps and kind of tidy up underneath. But I'm starting to get really over this little project. Usual story, I thought, oh yeah, I'll just whip that out. No, not happening. I thought I was just gonna whip that out and chuck in the Dynamat, but no, this is a whole nother animal, unfortunately. But we'll get there. It's just, yeah, it's tiresome. I don't really want to be doing this. I'd rather be doing something else, but it needed to be done, so carry on. Bang my head on my light. Okay, so update. The old spray bottle with the terps and a little bit of wax and grease remover is doing pretty well. Still, you know, having trouble getting it out of all these bloody horrible crevices and stuff, and this seam in the floor there. But I'm at this kind of crossroads now. Obviously still kind of got a lot of crap up in there as well, but I'm at this crossroads where it's like, do I take this floor panel out and that floor panel out and endeavour to kind of clean up as much as possible that's kind of weeped through here, or do I just Dynamat this and kind of clean up the underneath over the next couple of years as I'm mucking around underneath there, if that makes sense. It's only a few screws. I'll take a few screws out and then I'll assess what needs to be done. I've still got to get all that other black stuff off around the sides as well. So on the upside, the sun's come out now, so it is looking like a spring day here in New Zealand. Yeah, so what do I need to take this out? Flathead screws, old school, and probably some metric bolts, possibly some Whitworth bolts, and some UNF and UNC, because this truck is hobbled and cobbled together with a whole bunch of different flavors of fasteners during its life, and ones I've added to it and stuff. But yeah, so I might pull the floor out and figure it out from there. Let's do it. This is what I was talking about before, all this stuff over the last few years of driving this truck around with this crap in it has been melting and oozing down here and just kind of like splatting on things. Fortunately it's not flammable because it's sitting on the exhaust, but it is kind of starting to get into the old shifter mechanism and stuff, and it's over here, it's all over my transcooler lines, and it's a mess. Now it's not too bad further back around here, that won't take too much to clean up, but this is where one of the bigger gaps is too, so it's quite up and over on top of the bell housing and stuff. So might give this a little bit of a quick clean up, and then I'll take this top board off to kind of clean up. It's just this is all now all sort of semi-soft with the old terps and that all through it, and I took that floor piece out without any gloves on, and now I've got it all over my hands. So I'll have to go and clean up my hands, and then we'll carry on and have a bit more of cleaning this crap up. Holy cow. Look at the state of it. Okay, so probably a good idea that I not that this stuff's harmful, it's just a nuisance. Like, it drips on the floor and the floor gets sticky. So yeah, got some more cleaning to do in here on the bell housing and stuff. Probably come off the bell housing reasonably easy because there's a bit of a greasy film in that. Hopefully it hasn't stuck too good. And yeah, I'll get the worst of it off anyway, and then I've got to go and clean up those floor panels and stuff like that. Fortunately it's not all in the neutral safety switch and all that other malarkey. I won't worry about that. Probably won't worry about these bits in here either. I'll just pretend we didn't see it, I think. Okay, update. Pretty much cleaned up all in here as far as I'm gonna clean up. Still gonna mount the old dip switch a little lower. Might do that once the floor's back in though, so I can figure out where to put it. Sorry, got a bright light over there. So now I've just got the floor panels out and trying to clean up all the shit that's oozed down the edges and stuff of those. So that's a mission. We're over about a day and a half now just to clean off all this crap, and I haven't even got to start putting the Dynamat stuff in yet, because yeah, I don't even know whether I'll get to that today, but I was hoping to just like a little 2-day job, you know, or a day job, but you know how these things blow out. That'll teach me for cheaping out and buying the crappy cheapy sound deadening shit from local shop that had no thermal properties whatsoever. It says on the listing that it has thermal properties, but obviously not small block Chev thermal properties. Anyway, carry on. Got to go and clean all these floor panels and edges of those and that now. Okay, so update. Got this cleaned off enough that I've just hid the rest of it with a bit of black etch primer just to kind of tidy it up. But even though I'm going to stick more sound deadening and that over the top. Cleaned off the trans, obviously took some rattle can paint off there that was on it when I got that trans, so not going to bother about the header wrap. There's just not much likelihood that I'll ever get that off, so I'll just leave that. And there's a few bits on the trans still in various places that I'm not gonna sweat about. And got the come this way and come and see. Got the main floor panel and the other floor panel cleaned up, and I've just squirted a little bit more etch primer onto those just to what do you call it, just kind of, because they were still just kind of sticky, and I was just going over and over and over and over and over them, and it was just moving the shit around. So I got the worst of it off and just covered it up with paint. So where the paint sticks, I know probably not the right way to do it, but if I was paying me an hourly rate to do that, I would say just paint over some of it, mate, it'd be alright. And yeah, so just gonna let those kind of cure up a little bit, and then in the meantime I've got to kind of clean all the gunky shit off, all the nuts and bolts and shit that held all the floor in, because they're all covered in goo as well. But I've had them soaking over here in a little paint tin, or a little tin of, what was that, chopped tomatoes, organic even. So I just got to, that's got lacquer thinners in there, so I just got to give them a good clean. Just taking the lining off the inside of the tin, mind you, but probably won't take that gooey shit off because
nothing much really. Wanted to take that gooey shit off. So clean those up and then either put the floor back in, or I might even Dynamat the floor pieces outside. So like I know where all the holes in that are, and I can kind of clear all the holes, and so the whole kind of floor can be taken out with the Dynamat in place, if you get what I'm saying. It makes sense, rather than put the floor in, smother Dynamat over everything, and then for some reason I have to take the old 700 R4 out of the thing, and I need to get to something, but probably not likely that I'll ever need to kind of get in here to do anything for the trans. It is a 700 R4, so if there's ever a problem with it, it's probably coming out, let's be honest. Okay, but so far so good, knock on wood, it's been a good trans. Yeah, so I'll just clean up these nuts and bolts, and then we'll maybe chuck some Dynamat on some stuff. So I might do all the floor pieces separate, and then I'll come in and do all the bits up on the firewall. Alrighty, so kind of ready to have a crack at putting my first bits of Dynamat on. As I said earlier, I'm gonna kind of leave areas for where all the screws and shit go to hold this on. Not sure what to do about these like factory swages, whether to try and sort of push it in there. Don't know how much give it's got. I'll try, I guess. Yeah, so first sheet, I guess. They're actually quite large, so check it out. This almost fits over the whole thing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come right out to the edge with it, trim the corners, find all my holes, lay it into there, and then I'll do a thin strip up there, and I'll probably even do up over the top of the tunnel, maybe, yeah, something like that. I'm not quite sure the best way to go about it, whether to mark my holes and cut them out, or just try and find them after, poke a hole through. I'll cut those holes before I peel and stick, or is that a mistake? I don't know, I sound really indecisive at the moment. That's kind of because I am. Or should I start it at that end? That way I've got a clean piece under the driver's side. Hopefully this stuff holds up to the heat better than the other stuff I had in there. Otherwise, I just don't know. What will happen. Right. So I don't know how well this will like just stick down. Will I be able to pull any bits back up? Serious business this. Should I run it to that edge to start with? Maybe run it to that edge to start with. Have the join back here, because this is where most of the noise and the heat's going to come from, over here. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll find the holes after, because I think it's going to move around a bit. Looks quite good, so be careful. Okay, not really the best application of Dynamat, but got a few wrinkles up here, but there's going to be carpet over the top of it, so pretty sure it'll be alright. But there's probably like lots of Dynamat experts will say no, you have to get all the wrinkles out and stuff. Where's a knife? Sure I had a knife somewhere. Oh, there it is. Well, that worked quite well, using the end of the roller to get the Dynamat into that swage. The roller is not the proper Dynamat roller. Obviously this kit didn't come with one. It's like you spend all this money on a mega Dynamat kit and it doesn't come with the bloody roller. Whereas the cheaper, smaller kit came with a roller. Go figure. But anyway. Just as well I didn't cut all those holes that I was marking out before, because none of them oh, the first one landed on, maybe that one too, but none of the others did. So that was a good decision on my part not to do that, you know. Yeah, this roller doesn't really work that well. It's too soft. It's like a wallpapering roller. I used to have a wooden roller on it. That would have been ideal, but I just cannot find it. I wonder if I could modify, make something. Give me a minute. Okay, so I found a skateboard wheel, which might be doable, but with the bearings in, too small, like inside diameter. So if the bearings out, too big. So I just got to build it up somehow. Don't know how yet. No. That might do. Slight detour. Sorry about this, folks. Just you haven't got the right tool for the job. You've got to figure out how to make the right tool for the job. The shop doesn't sell the right tool either. So here we are doing bush stuff like this. Oh, she's a bit not exactly straight, round. Round there now, a couple of loop-de-loops of electrical tape should get us into making it a little bit more snug. Kind of getting somewhere. Here we go, skateboard wheel, Dynamat roller. Leaves a bit of a tread pattern on there because the skateboard wheel is not super smooth, but that's alright. Like I I say, there's going to be carpet and stuff over the top of it. Well, the old carpet that was in the truck anyway, so yeah, okay, so that kind of works. Carry on, see when we've got the Dynamat on the pieces. Just a little update, haven't got much further, but I did find my holes and just kind of cut those little pieces out, and it kind of cut out and I was able to pull those little pieces out pretty easy, just in case you were wondering. Bit of a process going around rubbing it all down, especially when you forget where you've been. Perfect, Sunday. I reckon that'll do it. I don't know, you guys cover the whole lot or what? Okay. Shoelaces undone. Yeah, I'm gonna cover the whole lot. I have heard that it is most effective, but then you see other people just putting pieces in the middle. But one of my big things with putting this down in the truck is kind of heat is the big issue I have problems with in the cab of the truck. You get so much heat comes through the firewall, it is pretty punishing on a hot day. So trying to eliminate some of the heat coming through the firewall. It's awesome in the winter because it hasn't got a heater, but yeah, so that's why I'm going to all of this trouble. And a bit of noise as well, it's a bit drony in there, but yeah, okay, anyway, carry on. Okay, so update, got my my two floor panels all Dynamated on the bench. Probably a whole lot easier than doing it on here. Now I just got to get it back in and hook the old speedo cable onto its little clips. And yeah, then make a new spot for that. It's always bothered me that it was up high, but it kind of piggybacks onto the back of the what's it, the transmission dipstick. There we have it. Right, I'll just bolt this in anyway. Oh, come on. Well, it's kind of tight coming out, but this is just ridiculous. There's a particular order that all these fasteners went in here, I think. Let's get a couple started just to hold it up, I guess. That's the first half of the floor bolted down. Just got to do the second half now. This is the tricky part because you've got to do the handbrake on, handbrake off, and I think my handbrake has come out of adjustment. I don't really know how. I'll have to jack it up and adjust that. Right, how do I do this? It's the routine again. I can't remember how I took it out. Forgot. Supposed to put those little things on there to bolt onto there. Sweet. Ah, you fucking. Right, okay,
That one there fought me a little bit, so she's a little kind of that one. I think it was problematic way back when as well. So it's in now, kind of not perfect, but it's in. If you see my truck, it's not perfect either. So Dynamat on the main parts of the floor. Getting a bit late in the day now, so tomorrow I'll come back in and work out where that's going to go, and put some riv certs or something in to fix that on there, or there, somewhere around there, and yeah, then we'll fill in the gaps. And I got some of that jointing tape with the old Dynamat. I'm not 100% sure where that goes. I was planning on doing it kind of, maybe putting it over the joins in the actual floor rather than just the Dynamat. Am I asking for trouble? I don't know. Then I've got to put the gas pedal back in and all that kind of exciting stuff in the carpet, and then see whether it make any difference whatsoever. So, well, it won't have all that dribbly shit leaking out underneath it anyway, hopefully, unless Dynamat does that sort of stuff too. So, till tomorrow. Had enough for today. Might go and walk the dog or something. Well, it's the next day after work. I've gone back into the truck Dynamating experience. Just got to get some lights on so I can see, because it's getting a little dark. Where did we leave off yesterday? Got the floors back in. I think that's where I left it. So what I'm going to do now is remount my dip switch a little bit lower, so I don't have to do the whole on the dip switch. So riv nuts to the rescue. Okay, so I'm going to drill out these holes here and put some riv certs in here as well, since when I mounted up my little dipstick holder back in the day, I didn't have what do you call it, like the riv nut gun. So now I do. How cool is that? But I had to take the air cleaner off and move the distributor cap over just a bit so I can get the riv nut gun in there. So I've just got to drill those out and drill the new holes for the dip switch, and yeah, exciting times. Alright, so just do one hole, make these bigger. Ooh, jeez, that was a bit violent. Right, now I might as well drill the other holes for the dip switch as well. Now these little, you can see the back of that there, that's just a little T screw that's holding the P-clamps for the brake line. So, and the brake line runs across the top, so I'm going to bring this down just down below, just to clear it, and yeah, she'll be good. Alright, I'll just mark my holes with my hole marker. Okay, that's probably not going to pan out quite how I thought it was. Probably should have just used a pencil, but oh my god, everything's in the way. Right. About there. Okay, one hole there. Just confirm that. Primo. Right, just got to bring that out to the right size for the old riv nuts. I'll just tuck that out the way. Up you go. Come on. Get up there, steady. Just like that. Right, riv nuts. Number one. A little bit more of a pinch up. Yeah, boy. If I haven't mentioned this before, this riv cert gun, riv nuts, or cert nut riv thing, this is one of the best investments I've ever made. It's such a handy tool for doing things like this, and it gives you a nice kind of clean, kind of fastening system. I wouldn't put anything like real heavy load and that on it, but for something like this, it's perfect. Now these particular riv nuts are going to be tucked away behind all the distributor and stuff in the engine bay, so you won't really sort of see them, hopefully. I'll double check that when I go around there to put these ones. I'm going to put in from the other side, so let's go and do that. Actually, let's double check, make sure this is should be good, I reckon. We'll find out. Oh yeah, can't really see those down there. Once all the dizzy caps back on properly and the leads and that are all in there, she'll be good. Now, can I get in here? Oh. Just give that a little bit of a tweak up. There we go. A little bit more. Just like that. So that's one down. This is the slowest part of the whole process, is unscrewing the thing. Come on, get in there. There we go. Just like that. Now you might have noticed me putting that little rag over the top of my distributor. That's just really to stop a little bit of kind of metal shavings and that when I drilled these out falling into the said distributor. So, job done. Put that away with my high-tech circuit tester. It's actually got a little 12-volt light in there. Cool way. Made that. Desperate times with desperate measures. I needed a little circuit tester and I didn't have one, so I made that years ago and been using it ever since. Works well. As long as there's current running through it, it doesn't have batteries and stuff like that. But it's just basically an old pen, a 12-volt light bulb and a bit of wire soldered to a nail and 2 nails actually, but it works. So yeah. Right, better vacuum up my drill shavings and then we can start sticking up some more Dynamat. Alright, I'll do a quick measure. I might do a piece from here, tuck it up in the air on top of the old shit that I didn't clean off very well over the weekend. So I might cut a piece 400 by, where should I take it down here? So 400 by 500, and I'll do a little lap there. Yep, let's do that. Yes, 500. Cutting it all the way through, so I'm going to take it in here because I've got to notch out a couple of pieces. Keep these other stuff. Right, I need a pencil. That's the centre. I'm going to cut. That's the centre. I've got to cut that notch there out, and probably a bunch of other stuff. 390. I've got to cut from up there to there, and I should be able to tuck it in there and fit it maybe. Oh, come on. Oh, okay. Okay, this could go really bad really quickly, and I just want to stress again, this is not a tutorial on how to do Dynamat-y stuff. Oh, this stuff just wants to stick. It just wants to stick. Good time to do this would be before you put anything else in the car. Ugh. Come on. There you go. Oh, there we go. No. Yes. I think that's it. What is it all going on up in there? Okay, so it's not really where I thought it was going to be. Kind of worked. What's that? This is where it's going to get real ugly. Trying to get in. This whole steering column and everything's all in the way. Down there. Okay, right. Cut these rib sets out. Come on, not yet. There we go. Right, I don't know where the other two are. Must be down here somewhere. I don't know. I'll find them when I roll it down, I imagine. Right, that's kind of in there. I'm just gonna. Oh, what's that doing? Oh, I should probably clear it away from that wiring in case I have to pull out any wiring or do anything, eh? Anyway, so that's kind of laid in there. I've just got to find all my holes and trim it up and roll it all on, and then on to the next bit. Probably do that bit next. Okay, so got my first piece on. Now she ain't pretty, but it's on there and it should be alright, I think. Found my holes, as I said when I rolled over it. I found them, and they were easy to find because they stick out more. And then there's little sharp things that stick through from the other things, the P-clamps. Now I'll have to measure a piece and I'll cut a piece to do this area now, I reckon. Okay, so I'm not going to do that big bit next. I'm just going to use up some of the offcuts, and I'll do some of these side pieces next, and then I might call it for tonight and carry on tomorrow. So I'm going to do these bits here. Yeah, I'll just do those bits there. So I'll do it in pieces, and do both sides as I go, I guess. It'll work, hey? You reckon? Okay, update. Got that piece in here. So I've left all the joints. I'm going to put some of that foil tape over the joints. But I've got that piece in there. Got a bunch of stuff up the top there. Still got a couple of little bits to try and fill in underneath there. And still haven't figured out where that nut came from. Might have lost it ages and ages ago and just replaced it on something else, but I don't know where it came from. I can't find anything. So just got a couple of little bits to do up under the firewall just to finish that up, and then I'll chuck some down in these areas down the next to the doors. I've got the mega kit too, so that I'm going to have some left over, so I'm thinking I might do behind the seat and possibly in the door panels and that as well, like on the door skin. Maybe just put some strips in there just for take down some of the vibration possibly. Anyway, I'll carry on, do these little bits, get this floor all finished up, and then I might
move on to behind the seat or something. Alrighty, so got my little side pieces in and some strips up the back there. My dip switch bolted back in place, and the old, oh, sorry, crash. And I got the that thing screwed back in place. That was a bit of a mission actually. Ended up getting some like hand crampy stuff going on trying to get past the distributor. Probably should have left the cap off to put that back on. It would have been easier. Hindsight, wonderful thing. 2020, as they say. Right. I should put that carpet back in, my flash carpet on the back of the workbench there. Then I can, that's it, that all done under the floor. Oh, now I've got to tape up those seams, don't I? I'll tape those seams up first, yes. Tape the seams up. Okay, so this is the tape that I got. It's got a liner on it, so it's not gonna, doesn't work quite how I thought it was gonna work, but that's alright. We're still gonna just run like just over these, so if I have to take the floor out, I can just run a knife through this stuff and not battle with the whole thickness of the Dynamat sort of stuff going on. So can't get it to go around corners, so cut that off there. And then fight. There we go. Oh, look at that, it's like a sticky tin foil. Oh, very, very tin foily. Just like that. Alright. Find if you tear it off rather than cut it nicely, it's easier to, oh my god, make a mess of it. Okay, I'm probably doing this all completely wrong. There's probably a special way of taking the backing off this Dynamat foil tapage stuff. I know what I might do. So what I might do is, if I can get to the end of this started, rather than pull all the backing off in one go, stick a little bit down and then peel and stick. It's like the zip and weld kind of technique, like this. Over the top of the screws, but that's alright, you can still find them. Just like that. Okay, oh well, I'll carry on, do the rest of these seams, and then meet you on the other side. Okay, last piece of this strip stuff. Now, as I said before, I just have been tearing this off, and as this is my first time using this, I have found this that I'm just talking bullshit really. This I don't know whether it's really any easier. Don't listen to any bullshit advice from me about putting Dynamat down. This is, again, as you can see, amateur hour at its finest. We'll just force it down over them. Yep. I probably said earlier in this video that my whole kind of objective is to kind of keep some of the heat down coming through here. Noise reduction is just a bonus. Well, as much as I'd like it to be a bit quieter in here, I don't really hold out great hope for this making all that much difference. It might do, you never know. I've never put Dynamat in a car before. So that's all the floor and that all done in this part. So like I say, if I want to pull the floor out again for whatever reason, I can just run a knife down that stuff, unbury my nuts, bolts and screws and stuff, and then pull the floor out, and I don't have to cut the Dynamat itself. On the whole,
hopefully that makes a difference. We'll find out next time we get it out on the road, give it a drive and see what it sounds like. Got heaps left over because I really didn't think that much about it when I bought the pack. I did look at the next size down and it just looked like it wouldn't be enough, so I bought the extreme pack, bulk pack or something like that. It's a big pack of Dynamat, and I bought that. Oh, and I've got quite a bit left over. I don't know how many sheets I've got. So I might have four sheets left over and a few little bits and bobs over there. So with that being said, I'm going to put some behind the seat for a start, and I won't do the doors and that just yet because I can't be bothered. I'm kind of over this process and undoing nuts and bolts and screws that don't want to go back in where I found them. So yeah, there. Right, got to clean up my mess, and then I'll put the carpet back in and put the fire extinguisher back in, and can throw that mask out. It's been kind of kicking around in the front of the truck for quite some time, 2 years maybe even, and we just dropped our mask mandates here in New Zealand. You boy, waste of time that was. That's another argument, but anyway, yeah, let's get on to this. Put the carpet back in, clean up my mess. Fire extinguisher back in, security device secured. Carpet, look at that, can't even tell I've even been there. One day I'm going to get some nice new carpet for this. That's the carpet that was in the truck when I got it. It was also glued to the doors and the headliner, and it was actually glued all over the back of there too, but I had to take the windscreen out, back windscreen out to do seatbelt mounts and stuff, and so I had to peel all the glued on carpet. It's glued everywhere, and there's carpet glued inside the doors. You might have seen that if you watched the other video on the regulators and stuff. But yeah, so I might chuck a little bit of Dynamat behind the seat there. I'll show you what's going on behind there in 2 ticks. That is what's going on behind here. We've got some old like pub carpet or 60s motel carpet glued to everything. So by the time I chuck a bit of Dynamat onto this, there's one put out, it might actually reduce a little bit of road noise or something, maybe, with any luck. Of course this bit's like mega glued on here. Try it from the bottom. She's a bit dusty. See this is other foam matting, sound deadening stuff that I put on over the top of that absolute cluster that I just removed, which kind of made it harder. All that foam matting stuff, that's supposed to be some sort of sound deadening stuff as well, but don't know how effective it is. But anyway, still carpet in behind here, but I'm going to start with putting some on those panels. I might give them a bit of clean with something first, maybe. I don't know what. Glass cleaner? ISO. I don't know, that might take whatever paint that is off. I don't know, I'll do a test bit. Bit of a wipe down with some isopropyl, confined space. Ow, and all those tiny little cuts I got from all this foil stuff. I feel every single one of them in my hands now. Don't drink this. Apparently it makes you go blind. Okay, so I've still got half the backing on here, just so I don't accidentally stick it to everything I don't want it to stick it to. And I'm just gonna go, I'll center it across there, I reckon. This will probably end up crooked as all buggery, but it doesn't matter. I'm pretty certain it'll do a better job of deadening
some sound than the old carpet did. Oh, look at that. I haven't even rolled it down yet. There's my skateboard roller. Check it out. So, like that. That rattling is the light. Oh well, so that's one side done. I'll do the other side. We might call this goose cooked. Well guys, that's it. Those two pieces in there. Still got 3 full sheets, rubbish, and a few light offcuts on the back there. If I decide to, I could easily do those doors as well. If the gas tank was out, you could do it probably underneath the gas tank. I did read on a forum, some engineering expert said you don't need to do full coverage for sound frequency dampening. You can do like chevron sort of crosses, strips like inch and a half. They reckon you're just wasting material by doing full coverage, but I don't know, you can always add more, I guess, if you do it that way. So when I come to do the doors, I got heaps, got enough to do the whole lot, so I could easily do the inside of my doors without too much trouble. They're not too tinny sounding actually, because they got carpet glued on the inside of them as well. It's probably not the best thing, because I mean, if water gets down there, the carpet's going to hold water in it, so I probably should take the carpet out of the doors and maybe put some of this Dynamat in. Job for another day. I want to see how this goes. I want to know whether it makes a difference or not, and just see how good this Dynamat stuff is. There guys, so not quite finished with this Dynamating process video of the old bomb truck. Got to take it for a test run and get it up to 10. Been driving for about 5 minutes, it's still not up to 10. It runs quite cool, this truck. Well, it takes a while to get up to temperature anyway, so I want to drive it long enough that the fans come on and do their thing and blow all that hot air back towards the firewall, so I can see how much kind of heat it's going to generate. But yeah, so I've got my little co-pilot, young Ty here, or not so young anymore. That's part of the problem. That's why he's a co-pilot today, is because he's dragging his toes when he walks, and he's wearing his toenails down the wrong way. So for him, a ride in the car is just as exciting as going for a walk, even though he doesn't really look that excited, but trust me, he is. And yeah, so we'll do a bit more driving, see if we can get this thing up to temp, and then see how much heat's coming through the firewall once we get it warm. Hey Ty. Yeah, he's ignoring me now. He kind of fell over getting into the truck and got all tangled up in the handbrake lever, and yeah, he's a bit of a putz, but he's my little putz. So he's kind of a little bit dark at the moment. Hey pup. Oh, there's more stuff going on to look at. It's not that great in anticipating stops either, so usually when he's in the back of the other cars he just kind of slams up against the seat quite frequently, which is not really ideal. So anyway, check back in once we've got this thing hot. Well guys, we're back home. Finally got this thing to run up to 10. I switched the fans on anyway, just to kind of blow the heat up against the firewall, and it finally started getting some heat on the firewall, but not a hell of a lot. So far so good.
Slow down, eh? And yeah, so we're back home. The car was just going past. This is a dead end street. There's kids all over the place, and this car goes past at a friggin' 100 mile an hour. Suzuki Swift of all things. It's just embarrassing. Yeah, so far so good. I actually think the soundproofing has kind of improved slightly. It's not quite so drony, just kind of gentle cruising. When you give it some jandle, obviously it kind of barks up and kind of you can't tell, it just gets loud. But yeah, so that's where we're at. And then they go there, little scrape bags, hoodies and shit on, driving mum's car, thrashing it. I can't really sort of complain, I've been there. Keys. Hey pup, you ready to go inside? I have to help lift him out because he's a bit special. Hey boy, ready? Want some help? Come on. Come on. Come on. Yummy, good boy. There you go.
So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that for this one. As always, thanks for watching, and probably be back on the old Area 51 next time around, maybe. Possibly some more Mori shit. Got another Mori, so that needs work. This needs work, that needs work. Now I gotta go to work. So, till next time, take it easy and peace.